Welcome back. Today is January 12th. It is a Thursday. I'm going to be doing a Throwback Thursday with the very first sticker book that I ever got. And I'm going to be doing this in my daily portion of my Hobonichi. And we're going to talk about some of the things that changed for me as I started planning and across my planner journey. When I first started planning, I was planning in one of the big happy planners of the same line, Free Spirit line, which is probably why I got this sticker book. I still love this sticker book nearly 5-6 years to this day. It's still one of my favorites, and I will pick it up anytime I happen to see it. I've got, I think, 3 copies of this exact sticker book, and as you can tell, this book is well loved. I've been through probably 4 or 5 copies of this book so far. It is one that I just continue to go back to. Pardon me. We've had some weird seasonal shifts, and it has caused all sorts of congestion to pop up. My allergies have gone haywire. So when I first started planning, I did not know that there was a thriving community of planners. I had no idea that there were Facebook groups, that there was such a thing as Planner Instagram, and now we have things like Planner TikTok, which, if you didn't know, there is actually a pretty good community on TikTok of planners. So when I first started planning, I had 2 or 3 rolls of washi tape. I already had a collection of pens because I was a pen person. But when I talk about when I first started planning, what I mean is not the very first planner I ever used, but when I started planning with stickers, when I started doing decorative planning. That was probably early 2018. I was in the middle of a very hard time frame in my life. I had moved halfway across the country. I had gotten pregnant. I had just had my first son, my oldest child, and I didn't have friends. I didn't have a community. I didn't have people. And part of the way that presented itself was I was very lonely. And on top of being a new mom who was suffering with postpartum depression, I was lonely, and I didn't have anybody I could talk to about this. I didn't have anybody that I could talk to about being a mom. I want to just fit right in. So I was lonely. I didn't know. And I picked up this planner because I was forgetting everything, and I couldn't keep track of appointments for the baby, let alone for myself. And I didn't know where my mental health was going. It was just, I was a mess. And I thought maybe a planner would help. So I started looking into planners again. Initially, I had a planner that I picked up from Staples that I hated. The layout just did not work for me, and the way it was set up didn't work for me. There were days where there was just too much space, days where there wasn't enough. I didn't have a good view, daily view, and that was something that I needed, and it was a lot. So I kept looking, and I remember Googling planners for moms, and Happy Planner had Supermom, and that caused me to click, and I was looking at it, and I didn't really feel that particular design. It wasn't until that I saw the Boho planner that I was like, oh my gosh, I have to have this thing. It's beautiful. It looks fun. And I planned by myself for and when I say by myself, I mean I plan outside of the planner community for 4 or 5 months. Could have been 6, before I ever found out that there was a massive community. And when I found the planner community, I jumped in head first, and it never changed for me. I couldn't go back to how I was planning before this. I couldn't go back to the way I was doing things, and just, I don't think I could go back to not having the massive planner community around me. And that is one of those things that has kept me in this community, is I don't know what I would do without the massive support from the community. From Instagram to Facebook and now TikTok and Twitter. I love this community, to the point where I started my very own planner group, which, and the way that happened is a whole other video. But this is how I got my start. And one of the things that initially drew me to this sticker book specifically was these beautiful mandala foils. I was a coloring book person, and I still am. These mandala foils were right up my alley. I was so in love with them that was my jumping off point. I love the constellations and the foil and just the way it felt. And I remember walking into Michael's not knowing that this was like a thing, and then finding out, and my mind was blown, and it, I couldn't go back. It will never be the same for me again. And I hope that every planner out there finds their tribe. They find their people that make planning better for them. My daily spreads tend to be pretty, how to put this, plain, because I do a lot of journaling in them. So I don't put too many stickers in. And if I do, I try and add some boxes so that I can fill out things that I need to fill out and keep track of. I know today I've got a couple of different appointments, and I usually start my mornings sitting here at my desk, getting my planner ready for the day, just so that I can have that few minutes to myself, which is something that you don't always get as a mom. You don't always get that time to yourself. Start with that header. That was something that I learned is, don't be afraid to layer. My planning style has changed so much in the last several years, and even year to year. I figure out new ways, things that work for me, things that I stop trying to make things that don't work for me, and I think that's a big thing. When you first come into this community, it is very easy to get overwhelmed and try and adopt everybody else's style as your own. And this is one of those things where you can't do that. You have to find what works for you. You can take inspiration from other planners and other people. But my biggest piece of advice is to find what works for you. And that's it. That's as simple as this spread's going to be for today. I've got a few appointments going on, but nothing serious. And this is my throwback. This reminds me of where I came from, how I started in the planner community. It reminds me of how far I've come, not only in the planner community, but in my life. My life is so different than what it was 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So, yeah. And so as different as my life is now, my planning has to be different. I used to agonize over my handwriting because to me I have sloppy handwriting. And now I don't. Now I understand that whiteout is a thing and it exists for a reason, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to not like your spread. Don't be afraid to change your planner. Don't be afraid to find your planner piece. My planner piece is going to be different than yours. Your planner piece will be different from mine, and it doesn't mean that our planners do not serve the same purpose and serve us both well. Little tip, use your favorite pen. Find out what your favorite pen is going to be. For me, it's the Simply Gilded pen. And once you have your favorite pen, a lot of things change. When I first started planning, I had a set of pens that I loved, but when I started using stickers, they didn't really dry on the stickers well, and it always made me dislike my spread because I'd have printing. My letters would print over to the next page when I closed my planner. This pen dries faster. It's not a pen that I'd recommend for lefties because it doesn't dry super fast. So if you're writing over your own, if you're moving over your own writing, that quickly it will smear a little. But as far as being able to write and then close your planner, this is really good for it. That's going to be my spread for the day. I'll go through and add in extra things into my to-do list. A real quick flip to my weekly section to make sure that I am not missing anything. And I'm not. I haven't even filled it out. But here we are. This is my daily spread. And again, I use my Free Spirit sticker book. And as you can tell, by the way, the pages have fallen out and the missing stickers, but this is a very well-loved sticker book, and it's one that I come back to every time. I hope you have a wonderful Thursday, and thank you so much for watching.